And welcome back, Gamer Nation. SKS here with another episode of Law & Order Legacies. Let's go after this asshole. Bye, Huang.
Wang, over here.
Sorry, Huang is indisposed at the moment. Ricardo Guzman, you are under arrest for the murder of Neil Jensen. You have the right to remain silent.
Oh, it is the guy.
Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Oh, here we go.
Mr. Guzman doesn't dispute the cockfighting charges. We're prepared to plead guilty on that one.
Está insultando la República Dominicana.
Let me. My client is not a murderer, Mr. McCoy. Mr. Jensen died as a result of an accident.
An
Accident.
He
this
attempted
guy.
to handle an armed bird, and he lost control of it.
Really?
Well, that would explain the blood on him.
Unbelievable. A man gets carved up like a side of beef. Guzman lets him slowly bleed to death, then dumps him on a doorstep and expects to walk away.
I checked with the Dominican consulate.
And?
He's wanted there for drug running and armed robbery.
Well, I want him here for murder.
Why do all these
Is
people
it
come from
possible
other places?
it really was an accident?
Does it matter? Neil Jensen didn't have to die. Guzman had 2 hours to get help and he callously stood by. Murder 2. Depraved indifference.
Depraved indifference? What? Whoa. Is somebody gonna get shot here? Oh, this guy's got a suit. The defense must be desperate. They're putting Guzman on the stand. Harlan Fitzpatrick is a good defense lawyer. He will try to make Guzman appear sympathetic, using a number of rhetorical tricks. Your job is to eject when he gets out of line. Leading is when a defense attorney puts words in the defendant's mouth to help make his case. You can often tell a leading statement because it ends with a question like, "Am I right?" or "Don't you mean?" Asked and answered is when the lawyer gets his client to repeat an answer for dramatic effect. Listen closely for repetition of things you've heard before.
Mr. Guzman, when did you first meet Neil Jensen?
When did you first
Maybe
meet?
a year ago, I guess.
Who initiated the relationship? You or him?
He did. I didn't want to have no part of him, man. Not at first. What I do, I gotta be careful who I let in. Can bring trouble, you know? Especially a white guy.
Oh, it's
Mr.
racist.
Jensen came to you with an offer, is that right?
Yeah, he had a bird, and he wanted me to help him raise it and fight it.
And at first you said no?
That's right.
And at first you said no. I don't know. Speculation, assuming facts not... Okay, I can't even do the one I thought it was, so I'll do this one.
Objection. Asked and answered.
Sustained. Strike that.
What convinced you to take Neil Jensen under your wing, as it were, in spite of your suspicions?
Yeah, why'd you take the white
You know,
guy in?
cockfighting ain't how they make it out to be, you know?
It's a more civilized practice than people realize, you mean.
Oh, that's leading.
Objection. Leading.
Sustained. Strike that.
What sort of sentiments did Mr. Jensen express to you?
Well, like, cocking's a real sport. It takes dedication and discipline. And you know, it can teach you a lot about life, if you let it.
So you agreed to
What?
keep the bird and help him raise it?
See, together we raised El Jefe. And
El
together
Jefe.
we conditioned him to fight.
El
That's a
Jefe!
good bird.
Here's another trick. Speculation is when a witness is allowed to theorize or imagine a scenario. What? We already know what that is.
Why don't you tell us, in your own words, what happened on the night of Tuesday, May 5th?
Well, Neil come in that night really keyed up, man. Like super keyed up. He was jumping all around. I think maybe he was on something.
Oh, speculation. There we go. There we go.
Objection. Speculation.
Sustained. Strike that from the record. Watch yourself, Mr. Guzman. Please confine your description to actual events.
Go on.
Well, he was excited, you know, because El Jefe was finally gonna fight. There were some other birds up first, but he couldn't sit and watch, man. Pacing around, till his turn finally came. Okay, I tell him. I'm the handler. I'm experienced at this stuff. Let me do it.
Get the bird into the ring.
The pit, yeah. It could be dangerous, you know, especially with the long heel.
A long blade attached to the rooster's spur.
Right,
Huh.
but Neil wouldn't hear nothing I was saying, man. Being he was a writer, he had to do everything himself. Well, anyway, he's yelling about how he had to be the one to handle El Jefe.
I like the
Told him
name,
don't.
El Jefe.
I ordered him even, but he really got in my face about it, man, so I had to back down. Then he went for the rooster, like he was going for a football or something. Grabbed it around the neck. You understand, this is a bird was being conditioned to fight. The bird goes crazy.
It attacked Neil Jensen. Naturally, you were horrified.
Oh, it's leading. They're leading. You're leading, you dick.
Objection. Leading.
Yeah.
Sustained.
How did you feel?
Horrified, naturally.
As we approach the part of the testimony where Guzman will describe Neil's wounds, be on the lookout for statements that would require medical training to get back. Oh, no expert knowledge.
Made a grab for the bird and got it.
Putting yourself in considerable danger in the process, I imagine.
Oh, that's leading too. You're a dick.
Objection. Leading. Counsel is putting words in the witness's mouth.
Withdrawn.
But by the time I got the rooster under control, the damage was done.
I see. So what then? What did you do for him?
I wrap a blanket around him to try stop the bleeding, you
A
know?
blanket?
Did you think to take him to the hospital?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, but he told me not to. He wanted me to take him home.
Mr. Jensen asked you to take him home.
Mm-hmm. His wounds, I mean, he was cut up pretty bad, but not so bad as all that. He should have pulled through, no problem.
Oh, yeah, what's it called? No expert knowledge.
Objection. No expert knowledge. Considering the outcome, I think we can conclude that Mr. Guzman's assessment of the situation is off.
Oh.
Sustained. Facts only, Mr. Guzman.
You got shit on that
You
one.
swore on the Bible you'd tell the truth, Mr. Guzman.
I'm telling the truth. I panicked maybe. You would have done the same. But I did what Neil asked me to do. What I thought would save his life.
Where was the blanket at
No
when he
witness,
dropped him
Mr.
off?
McCoy.
That's what I want to know. I mean, here's the thing. If he wrapped him in the blanket to stop the bleeding, when he dropped him off, why would he take the blanket back? I don't know. That just seems awkward. I don't think it makes sense at all. I don't know what you all think, but yeah. Oh well, we'll see what goes on now. Oh, we get the question.
Mr. Guzman.
Mr. Guzman. The prosecution is ready to cross-examine Guzman, focus on inconsistencies in the evidence, and his callous disregard for Jensen. Stay away from tricky issues like his past life or the cultural bias against cockfighting. Barbaric sport, danger, criminal... Okay, so these two we don't want to do.
The incident in question occurred on the night of May 5th.
That's right. Maybe 1:45.
1:45. And you say you acted to save him?
Of course I acted. I tried to help him right there, and when I couldn't help him, I took him home, like he asked me to.
Because there's 1:45. He took him straight home. No, because the guy didn't get home to almost 4, right? Two-hour gap between wound and 911 call. These wasp, white-ass silly punks.
But there's a problem here. The 911 call is time-stamped 4:03.
Oh.
2 hours after the incident, Mr. Guzman. Under the circumstances, it's fair to ask. Couldn't your response have been a little more prompt?
Hijos de puta mentirosos.
I'm sorry, Mr. Guzman.
It's a mistake. Someone's not telling the truth.
Are
Yeah,
you
that's what he
suggesting
said.
911 got the time wrong?
Or somebody.
So here's the thing that I know about this, is that before these court cases, both sides have a discovery period where both sides are allowed to look at all the evidence. So you know going into the courtroom, he should have already been coached by his awesome attorney about certain times and when he dropped him off and all that stuff. That just, yeah, this is bad on the part of them.
You knew it was dangerous for Neil Jensen to handle his own rooster.
Sure it was dangerous. When those birds are ready to fight, man, they're ready to fight.
Then why didn't you stop him?
I tried, man, but like I said, he wouldn't take no for an answer.
He wouldn't take no for an answer. No, he said that earlier. El Jefe testified. Yes, the chicken. Guzman... Neil testified earlier. Well, they're trying to confuse me up now. I almost hit the wrong one. Relationship... Okay, these two we don't touch, so this one.
Mr. Guzman, you took Mr. Jensen into your confidence, initiated him into your illegal activities. Knowing your new disciple was a writer, didn't you worry that he'd give the game away, expose your ring, and force you to shut down operations?
Well, sure I was worried, but he promised me he'd keep quiet. And he wouldn't write anything neither, unless I okayed it first.
And you trusted him?
Yeah, he respected me, man.
Did Jensen disobey Guzman at any point? No, I guess when he didn't listen to him? Right? Yeah? He threatened to turn in Guzman, tried to take control, planned to write an expose, Wang had indicated nobody respect. There we go. He tried to take over the cockfight. That's what he said, I think.
Well, it doesn't seem like he respected you very much on the night he died. I mean, he defied you. He disobeyed your orders to stay away from the rooster.
Stay away from the cock.
I guess that's right.
Don't say that.
Let's get back to those final moments, shall we? Maybe this time we can get the facts straight. You drove Neil Jensen home.
Like he asked me to.
And you dropped him off at the door. What time was that? 4 o'clock?
More like 2.
Did you stay with him till he was safely inside?
No.
No.
No. You dumped him there and took off. Why,
And he took the
Mr.
blanket.
Guzman?
I heard a baby crying as I was coming up the walk with Neil, and I saw a light turn on, so I knew she was up. I was sure she was gonna come down and get Neil.
Yes?
But I didn't want to have to be there and explain it all to her, you know?
No,
You know.
I expect you didn't. No further questions.
Oh, he just got shit on that. He got so shit on, it wasn't even funny. Alright, let's move on here. I always like where it shows a little scene because it doesn't catch up. Now is the time to put Elle on the stand and let her talk about her husband Neil and the horrible events of May 5th. No reason to ask tough questions, just have her recount her experience, generate some sympathy, but try to avoid any mentions of Neil's shitty nightlife or speculation about his death.
Want to take this one, Abbie?
The people call Ellie Jensen to the witness stand.
Oh, I like her authoritative voice. She turns me on. Shady associates, could Neil have survived? Yeah, we don't want to talk about those. Night of the murder.
Mrs. Jensen, tell us how you discovered your husband on the night in question.
Well, I heard a sort of a thunk coming from outside the front door.
Did it wake you up?
No, it wasn't loud enough for that, but luckily I was awake. Noah, my baby, had just waked me for his usual feeding.
That at least conforms to Mr. Guzman's testimony. What condition was your husband in when you found him?
It was horrible. He was covered in blood, and he had this look in his eyes like he knew he was dying. I kept saying, "Who did this to you? Who did this to you?" But all he could do was move his mouth.
That's sad.
I think he was saying, "I'm sorry."
And there was nobody with him?
Nobody. He was all alone.
You
Now
know, those
this is
things had to
crucial.
dig in.
Mrs. Jensen, what time did you discover your husband?
Just before 4 a.m.
You're
She
absolutely
quits
sure?
crying in her voice.
I glanced at the clock when my baby cried at 5 minutes too. He always wakes up at the same time.
Thank you, Mrs. Jensen.
Like, she was all like, oh, she was like, at
So
4
you
o'clock.
finally come around, eh, Harlan?
If that's the way you want to look at it, Jack.
Great. What are you looking for?
No jail time. Mr. Guzman pays a fine and does 12 months probation.
Oh, bullshit.
Come on, he killed a man.
Actually, a rooster killed a man.
He sat idly by for 2 hours and let an innocent man bleed to death.
Probation? No way. Make your counteroffer. The charge of murder applies if you feel Guzman acted in premeditation or in calculating fashion when he let Jensen bleed to death. The charge of manslaughter applies if you feel Guzman acted recklessly and thereby caused Jensen to die but didn't directly plan on that outcome. Fuck this guy. No deal.
So he can go right back to running cockfights? No deal, Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. You're going down, buddy. We're going to roast you. I let the last person get away.
Ricardo Guzman will never win any good citizenship awards. He's a devotee of cockfighting, a sport which many, no doubt, many of you here in the jury consider barbaric and inhumane.
Ooh.
But it's important to appreciate that the defendant is the product of another culture. We mustn't let cultural differences blind us to his essential humanity.
Oh, bullshit.
Consider Mr. Guzman's relationship with the deceased. He agreed to act as Mr. Jensen's mentor, not for money, but through mutual love of the sport.
Not for money. What
For
about his
many
watch?
months, he patiently worked with him and trained with him.
What about the
He
watch?
became Mr. Jensen's mentor and his friend. And when the accident occurred, Mr. Guzman reacted as a friend would react, with care and concern.
Oh,
Perhaps he made the wrong decision in taking the injured man home. Perhaps you or I would have gone straight to the hospital. But remember, Mr. Guzman is an immigrant, an outsider, with an outsider's suspicion of big institutions.
Oh,
My
cool.
client has lost a friend, perhaps as the result of his own mistake. And for that, he will suffer for the rest of his life. But does he deserve to go to jail? Good people of the jury, I beg you, let's not compound one error with another.
Good people. Wow, that was ravishing and all, but we're going to destroy you. Your turn for closing argument. Sway the jury with the facts and stay away from topics that might inflame cultural sensitivities. The 2-hour gaps, Guzman, savagery of cockfighting. The gap is the big thing. Let's hammer that home.
2 hours. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. 2 hours. 2 hours between the time Neil Jensen was stabbed repeatedly, and the time the accused saw fit to do something about it. 2 hours of agony, of Mr. Jensen bleeding, losing
Oh,
strength,
she's going to cry.
crying for help, for mercy. But there was no mercy. Not from Ricardo Guzman.
Yeah. Yeah, that girl is all about it. She wants to bounce on the dick.
The
Motive.
accused knew Neil Jensen well enough to understand the limits of their trust. If the victim had survived the attack, there would have been questions. The story would have come out. Guzman's illegal operation would have been exposed.
Ooh.
He would have faced prosecution, or loss of livelihood at the very least.
Now he's going to get it all.
He had a lot to lose, and a lot to gain by doing nothing. The legal community has a phrase for this behavior: depraved indifference. None of us was in the slaughterhouse with Ricardo Guzman and Neil Jensen. None of us knows exactly what was going on through the mind of the accused as he watched his cohort writhe on the floor. We may never know exactly why he stood and waited, But we aren't being asked to judge Mr. Guzman's motivations. We're being asked to judge his acts, or in this case, his failure.
Yeah, he
to
didn't
act.
do shit. Let's throw him away.
And in this case, I think you'll agree. Inaction speaks louder than words.
Has the jury come to a verdict?
We have, Your Honor.
In the charge of murder in the second degree, how do you find?
We find the defendant, Ricardo Guzman, guilty.
Ooh.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. He got what he deserved.
What does she got him?
Not much comfort to you, I'm sure.
It won't bring Neil back, but it gives me some closure.
I don't trust
Will
her.
you be okay? I think he'll see to it. Right on schedule as always.
He's always on schedule. They walk funny.
Know anyone who needs a nanny?
Mrs. Jensen let you go, huh?
That figures. I'm just one more thing that reminds her of Neil.
It figures.
And God knows she got rid of all his other stuff. His photo albums, his collections of rare books.
Well, different people grieve in different ways.
Yeah, I think she'll be doing her grieving in Aruba. She bought tickets yesterday.
What?
You don't suppose.
You've got a suspicious mind, Curtis. Up for a little field trip tonight?
Uh-oh. There's the baby, right on schedule, right?
5 minutes to 2.
Right on schedule.
You think that means...
She couldn't bring herself to get rid of the rooster in the chicken coop, but the rooster in the house is a different story.
Oh, shit!
I'm not sure I understand.
She went up on the witness stand and told the court that she found her husband at 4 a.m.
But she told us that her baby wakes up at the same times every day, and we heard the baby wake up at 2.
So, isn't it possible that the baby could have also woken her up at 4 a.m.? We're talking about a baby here.
You don't have any proof that Ellie Jensen is lying.
Which is why we need a warrant to search her brownstone.
And just what are you hoping to find?
Mrs. Jensen mentioned that she installed a nanny cam in her nursery. Those things have timestamps on them.
She might be lying or not, but the nanny cam always tells the truth.
Unless she's deleted that.
Fine, I'll give you a warrant to confiscate the nanny cam, but only that.
So is this going to go on? What's going...
Neil? That you?
2 a.m., Mrs. Jensen. Care to tell us why you waited so long to call 911?
I wasn't thinking straight.
Oh.
Clearly.
I was just so mad. He promised me he was going to stop running around like a damn teenager, wasting our money and risking his stupid neck, all for the sake of his stories. He was going to calm down
What a
and
bitch.
be normal, a decent husband and father. He swore.
Well.
I didn't want him to die. I just wanted to teach him a lesson.
I think he learned.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, wow.
Jury just came back in the Jensen case.
And?
Guilty. Man 2, 10 to 20.
Oh, shoot.
Looks like PS 84 is going to have to find themselves a new principal.
What
Good
a
work,
smart
gentlemen.
ass. What about the other guy? Did we let Guzman off?
How about we grab lunch? You still on that diet?
Nope. Ditched the health food. And, Julia.
Right on schedule.
And I feel great.
Any preferences?
Nope, I'm up for anything. Except chicken. For some reason that doesn't appeal to me today.
Oh, my God. Do I really do this for you all? Alright, gamers. I'm going to go ahead and say I'll see you next time on that one. No chicken. That's all I'm going to say. This show, yeah. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this second episode of this. I'll see you next time. Good night, gamers. Oh my God. I feel like I've sold my soul.